Here's why you play Aldous, the sole contractor in the EXP lane. First off, he possesses massive late-game damage potential, making him a terrifying presence in extended matches. He has great scaling with his stack building mechanic, which significantly amplifies his damage over time. Aldous also has a global presence through his ultimate, allowing him to pick off enemies or help his team from across the map. However, Aldous is very vulnerable in the early game and heavily reliant on farming to reach his full potential. Aldous's passive, Contract Transform, grants him a shield after every 2 basic attacks. This shield scales with his soul steel stacks, allowing him to sustain better in fights and trades. The effect can only be triggered once every 5 seconds, making it essential to time his basic attack strategically. Aldous's first skill, Contract Soul Steel, enhances his next basic attack, dealing massive physical damage that scales with his soul steel stacks. If this attack kills an enemy hero, siege minion, or other non-hero unit, Aldous gains additional stacks, allowing him to scale his damage throughout the game. This skill also deals extra damage to creeps and minions, making it a powerful farming tool. Aldous's second skill, Contract Explosion, allows him to assume a defensive stance, reducing incoming damage and gaining bonus movement speed. After a short duration or manual cancellation, he deals AoE physical damage and stuns nearby enemies based on how long the stance was held. This skill is excellent for trading, initiating fights, or escaping tight situations. Aldous's ultimate, Contract Chase Fate, gives him vision of all enemy heroes for a brief duration. During this time, he can dash toward a selected enemy hero, dealing physical damage and knocking them back upon impact. This ability makes Aldous a global threat, capable of targeting isolated enemies or disrupting crucial backline heroes in team fights. A typical skill combo for Aldous is to start with his ultimate to gain vision of the enemy team, then dash to the most vulnerable target. After hitting the target, follow up with his second skill for damage reduction and crowd control. Then, use his first skill to deal massive enhanced basic attack damage. Moving on to builds, I usually build Tough Boots, Thunder Belt, Blade of the Heptases, Malefic Roar, Antique Cuirass, and Athena's Shield. These are the emblems that go along with this build. As for battle spells, the best spell for Aldous in my opinion are Flicker and Sprint. These spells enhance his mobility and positioning, allowing him to close the gaps or escape when necessary. Aldous excels against heroes who lack early game pressure such as Zulong and Leomord, allowing him to farm his soul steel stacks effectively. However, he struggles against early game powerhouses like Martis and Deroth, who can dominate the lane and prevent him from scaling. You should maximize Aldous' first skill first for increased damage and stack generation, upgrade his second skill as a backup for defensive plays, and most importantly, upgrade his ultimate whenever available. Aldous thrives when he can safely farm his soul steel stacks, so prioritize clearing waves and juggle camps effectively. Use his ultimate strategically to either eliminate squishy backline targets or help allies in critical fights across the map. In the laning phase, use his second skill to mitigate damage and trade effectively with your opponent. Remember, timing is key. Don't rush into fights unprepared, as Aldous is vulnerable early on. Once you have built enough stacks, look for opportunities to dominate in 1v1 situations or apply immense pressure in team fights with your high burst damage.